Hey everyone, Lieutenant J.G. McCauley here. Going to do some training over your performance summary report, and most likely to talk about, or more specifically, to talk about your reporting senior cumulative average and how to understand what this stuff means. Again, Lieutenant J.G. McCauley. I am an LDO 6495 Reserve Security Officer. Email at the bottom, christopher.mccauley@navy.mil. Forgive me, I'm new to a lot of this technology. A little disclaimer, this is my opinion. It's not official Navy training. Different people may have different opinions. I'm going to give my opinion. No disrespect to those individuals I disagree with. Again, it's just my opinion, how I've been trained, how I've been taught, and what I've seen has worked for me and has worked for others. This is only a piece of the puzzle to a successful career. It's not the end-all be-all. So if something goes against what I train, it's fine. Again, it's a piece to everything. A little bit about me: did 4 years active duty, left active duty, came back in the reserves, immediately deployed with Mesron 1, deployed with Mesron 3, and deployed with Task Group Trident in 2012, and then 2015 I deployed to Djibouti, Camp Lemonnier. I am a Texas Peace Officer. I'm a DT and firearms instructor. I left that job last year and now work for Homeland Security. I still reserve with that police department, so I got a lot on my plate. I made LDO first time up as an MA1. I honestly didn't think I would make it first time up, so I never had the opportunity to put in the Chiefs package. But you know, I am where I am, and I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. So this is what your PSR looks like. Okay, so hopefully you have a copy of it, or you know where to find it. It is in your BOL under PSR. You just have to go in and print off the PDF version. That's what it looks like. So obviously, first thing up is your pay grade. Pay grades E1 through E4 will never show on this. Your duty station, block 29 of your evaluation. Again, bear with me. I'm kind of moving this pretty fast, so bear with me. Duty state, or your duty, basically what you were: patrolman, pat suit, watch commander, LPO. Dates. And we're gonna go over this real quick. The dates should never overlap, and they should never be a period not covered. As you can see right down here, this one ends on the 15th. The next one should start on the 16th. Not on the same day. It's one ends one day, one starts the next. Now, if there's an error in it, or you have a couple day gap, or it overlaps, it's fine. Just do a letter of correction. I'm not going to go over all that right now, but go to your admin, do a letter of correction. I had 2 of them when I was in E5. It's fine. Just be sure you want to catch it early. This is your reporting senior's name, most likely OIC, XO, CO, Commodore, things like that. So that's his name. That's his pay grade, his rank. This is his title. Again, most likely OIC, XO, or CO. You're going to see some other ones in there every once in a while. Traits. So basically, when you get your eval, blocks 33 through 39, we've all looked at them. This tells you how many 3s you got, how many 4s you got, how many 5s you got. So this sailor got all 3s. So his average is a 3.0. That's what this represents. That's what that number right there represents. So this number is the average of all the sailors you were ranked against. So there was 13 sailors that you were 13 sailors total, including you. So the average was a 3.57. So obviously this is his first E5 eval because it's the first one showing up. He's going to be below average, most likely, or checking into a command. So he's below average. This number right here is the total number of sailors that Captain K Crunch, how many E5 evals he's done in his career. This number right here is his average. Okay. So he's going to have his summary group. The 3.53 is what you're being ranked against right now, but his average is a 3.48, and that's what you want to be above. At that moment in time, that's what his average is. Okay. So that is the cumulative average. So we're going to talk about the summary, but why it's important. And even as a CO who doesn't have an average and is creating an average, why it's important to watch this and why it's important to maintain this, because you could potentially harm someone's career, not not on purpose, and I'll explain to you that later. So we all know what this is, right? How many Ps, how many MPs, how many EPs were in that during that time frame, who got what. So this sailor was one of 2 Ps. PRT, just be sure it reflects correctly. Just because it's showing in your prims one thing doesn't mean it necessarily reflects correctly here. So you want to be sure that you that does reflect correctly. So we're going to go over some actual PSRs. First one up, get my Texas hat. I am from Texas, proud Texan here, y'all. All right, this is a GM1. Again, I'm gonna kind of move through this fast because I don't want to take up too much time. This should take about 30 minutes. And then hopefully once I go over these 4 or 5 of these, you're gonna pick up and you're gonna understand what it means. So obviously red means bad, yellow means not bad, not good, green is good, blue is phenomenal. Again, these are my opinions. I'm gonna touch up on these real quick. As you can see, 8/17/07, 3/16/08. There's a huge date there missing. This one ended on the 26th. This one started on the 26th. It shouldn't be like that. It should be 9/27. Just like down here, there's a gap. So that's why those are red. So just, again, as you learn your PSR and what they mean, these are also things you need to be looking at. So if it says same, that means it was the same CO during that time, same. So we're going to start. Brand new E5 comes in, MP Sailor, 4.14. He is above the average at that time. That is good. He's above the CO's average. That is good. The CO has ranked 101 sailors, so he kind of knows what he's talking about. He's telling the board, the sailor's good. Now, same CO. This guy, he's transferring out, right? He's a 1-for-1. But what he did is he's basically telling the board, yeah, he's an EP sailor, but he didn't do as good. He gave him a 4.4. He was a 4.14 before. So you're saying that he actually went down? That's not what you want. You at least want it to be the same, which really isn't saying a whole lot either, which tells the board that you didn't show progression. So his chain of command should have at least made that, given one more 4, should have at least given 1 more 4, 2 more 4s. Again, just my opinion. That doesn't show, that's not good. So he checks into NR over here, comes in, brand new E5. He's promotable. He's a 3-0. It's not bad. It's not good. He's new. He's got to get evaluated. Well, he leaves. Next command, non-observed, whatever, checks into the 9th. This is a reserve unit. I'm going to tell you that right now because he's been with the 9th for a few years, since 2008 to 2013. So this is typical reserve stuff, which is fine. 3.29 comes in. He's below average. He's below the CO's average. That's fine. Still an E5. Showed progression. That's exactly what you want right there. Okay. Same CO too. So same CO. He moves up. He's below average, but he's above the CO's average, which is good. But he showed progression. That's what you want. That is exactly what you want to show. So a new CO comes in. He's above the average, and he's above the CO's average. This CO has ranked 381 sailors. So he really knows what he's talking about when he says, hey, I know what a good E5 is. And he's saying he is above average. And he's even over here, he's an EP sailor. So that's really good. Same unit, same CO. Again, showed progression. He was a 386 with the CO. Now he bumped it up to a 4.0. EP sailor. That's exactly what you want. So new CO comes in. He's looks like he transferred. He's a 1-for-1. I don't know what happened here because he went back to the 9th. But anyway, he's a 4-0 sailor. He's above the CO's average. That's fine. So now he's got the Commodore here. Commodore gives him a 4-0. This Commodore has ranked 545. Oh, I'll tell you exactly why. He got frocked. He made first. Okay. So first. He makes first class. Commodore gives him an evaluation. He's a 4-0. He's above the average. That's good. That's exactly what you want. Yeah, he's a 1-for-1. But this also says that he's not just, 23 up here out of 545 sailors. He's above this Commodore's average. So he leaves, he's with NMCB, whoever, checks in, MP sailor, he's above the average, he's above the average. So he's rocking it already. Same command, same CO, no progress. So he's still an MP sailor, but there's no progress. That's not what you want. And I don't know if maybe I screwed this up over here. I'm showing the same, but he went from 40 to 180. I don't think the math is there right. So I could be wrong on that, but still kind of want to show progress. So he's an E6. Commodore comes in, non-observed. He goes to the NR, new command, dates obviously, checks in. He's above the average, but he's below the CO's average. Not bad, not good. He's an MP, so nothing wrong with that. I can't go any further onto his because I realized in the last video after I completed the whole thing that I forgot to take his name off the top. So we're gonna move on. But that's the format. It should be the same on the next page. We're gonna skip old senior chief here. We're gonna go to OSC. So this is an OSC. Again, bear with me. Comes in, brand new E5, 4.14. He's below average. He's below average. That's fine. You should always start low and then progress further. Okay. So XO, same command. I'm sorry, same command, new XO. This is also his transfer eval, right? So he is the average, but he's above the CO's average. That's good. You know, he's only done 3, but he's above the average. So he checks into 31. It drops. Again, you want it to progress with the command. When a new CO or you transfer, you should drop because you always want to show progression. If you come in and you come in as a 4.5 sailor and you stay at 4.5, it doesn't show progression. It's okay to be low and then move forward. Okay, so he comes in, he's at 3.3, he's below. It's fine. I know this chief's got a lot of red. I know him personally, and obviously he made chief and he got the corrections fixed on that. So he actually leaves, or the unit changed or something. He's with the 22nd now. EST member. Actually, this is probably a MOB since he's an EST member as an E5. He's above the average. He's way above the average. He's blue because he's at least 0.5 above. Okay. So the reason I mark these blue is it says, I might have said this earlier, it says a lot. If my average is 3.5 and I say you're at 3.6, okay, you're slightly above my average. Well, if my average is 3.5 and I give you a 4.0, that says more. You are further above my average. So the greater the point, the greater the difference, the better. Okay. So this guy, he's doing EST stuff as an OS. He's rocking it. He's EP 4.43. Okay. Same unit, different CO. Okay. He's with an 04 now. So it's okay that it changed. Now, he might have come back from deployment. I don't know why he went from an EP to an EP. Someone outperformed him. He's below the average. He's below the average. So as an MP, in my opinion, he should be a little closer to the CO's average, but it is obviously it didn't hurt the sailor, right? So now he's back with the 23. OIC checks in. He's an EP sailor. He's rocking it. 4.14. He's above. He's at least 0.5 above. So now he's with the 82nd. Still a second class. He comes in. Out of all these, look at this, how many people he ranked against, and he's an EP. 4.14. He's above. He's above. That's what you want. So now he's with the 8. Probably the same command. It's just the way that typoed over here. Doesn't show progression. But it's a new CO, so that's fine, right? That's why it's green. It doesn't show progression, but it's a new CO. If it was the same CO for the next one, you'd want to see progression. So this guy's ranked 192. So I think the CO has a 4.14 sailor is good, but this guy gives everyone you can see right here, he gives everyone 4.0 evals. That's his average. So it's still good, but it's not great. Now, if his average was like a 3.57, that'd make a huge difference. So 8, 4.43, way above, and he's a MP. Okay, so he's with the 8th. Now here's a CO. He is an EP, 4.23. He's way above. That's what you want. Now, he's a 4.29. Go down here to the next one. He's a TAC soup, right? Command career counselor. Now he's a TAC soup. Same CO. I marked this yellow because it didn't go up. Yes, he's still an EP sailor, but he didn't progress. This tells the board he didn't progress. Now, again, you have these smart people, you have these smart master chiefs and senior chiefs on these boards. That's still good. And I marked it yellow. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not good, but it's still a good eval. That's why it's yellow. Okay. Because obviously, as you can see, 2 cycles later, he makes chief. So with the 8th, he's a 4.0. He is the average, transferred out. He's above the average, so that's good. He's a TAC suit. Okay. So he makes chief, right? There's a huge gap in here, but again, he fixed it. Brand new chief, it's fine. He's gonna be low man totem pole. His goal is to work his way up. So this CO, he's a 3.14. Same CO next year. Yeah, he's 1 for 1, but they could have 3.5 them, or they could have 3.7 them and gave him the EP. But they said no, he is above the average. He is a 4.0 chief, and that's what they did for him. I mean, he's an OS, but right. All right, same command, CO, unit SEL. He is the average. This is good. He kept the average right in that 3.5, 3.6 area. Because again, if another chief, if he said, you know what, chief, you are a 4.5 chief, the next CO comes in, or the next chief comes in, and he gives him a 4.0, well, now he just put that, a 4.0 chief should be good, but he's telling the board that he's below his average. So to make his average a 3.57, to me, this 04 knows what he's doing. He was ready for this. So one thing he could do, let's just say this chief was performing at a 4.25 level. The CO should put in the fit rep, due to RSCA, blah, blah, blah. This chief is actually performing at a 4.25 level. So there's ways around it. It's not just telling the board, oh, he's a 3.57. For the RSCA purposes, to make sure it is maintained properly, we're keeping it at a 3.57, but he is performing at a 4. I did it with Senior Chief, my last command. She was my first one, and that's what we did for her. So New York gets a new CO, 3.8. He is the average. He's below average, which is fine. Same CO, same command. He moves up. This is exactly what you want. And he's, I don't know why I marked it blue because he's not 0.5 above, but he did move up. Good dude, good chief. So now we're going to look at MA1 here. So this MA1, again, hopefully by now we're kind of figuring things out. We're looking at things. Green, he is the average. He's above the CO's average. Checks in new command, non-observed. New E5 to the command, he's below average. He's below average. That's fine. The CO, the same XO next year. So this guy went from patrolman to patrol soup to watch commander. That's flawless. So he went from a 3.57. Now he's an EP sailor to 4.14. The CO has ranked 233 sailors. He knows what he's talking about. Next year, same XO. He moved up again. Now this is his transfer eval, but his chiefs and his officers or whoever, someone made sure that it showed progression on his way out. I personally know this guy, and I can guarantee you he got better his time at this location. So this right here, this is flawless. I mean, it would have been better if that was green, but this is still flawless. So he leaves. He goes to Nav, wherever this is, right? He is the average. This CO has done 244 E6s. He knows what he's talking about. He's above his average. Checks into the ship. He's below the average, but he's above the CO's average, which is good. He's an MP. So obviously he's doing good already right off the bat. Not surprising, this sailor. Same CO next year, shows progression, right? He went from investigator to ops LPO. So he went a full at least 0.5 above the CO's average. That's exactly what you want. And now he's an EP sailor. New CO comes in, it drops. Again, that's what you want. When the CO comes in, it's going to drop because then when you leave or the CO leaves, it should bump up. Now, I don't know what happened down here with all this non-observed. Oh yeah, he transferred off, so he got a non-observed. So that's good. He's above the CO's average, so he left with an exclamation mark. I will say this about this sailor, one of the best guys I know, and it's no surprise that you don't see it here, but he is a chief, and now he is a he'll put on his butter bars for LDO next year. Phenomenal guy. Active duty. All right, we're gonna go over one more. That was gonna be my last one before, but I found this one, and I wanted to have a senior chief or master chief one, and to go a certain route. But actually, this is a better route I want to show. Took out the dates and everything in here. As you can see, all the COs changed every year. New E5. Okay, he's below the CO's average. He was ranked against 241 other E5s, or I'm sorry, not at the time, but the CO is ranked 241 other E5s. So he's below the average, but the CO is saying, hey, he's brand new E5. He's performing above my average, and he's an MP. So I marked that good. Okay, E5, 40, 40. He is the average transfer eval, obviously. He's above the average. That's good. Checks or 73, above the average, good. MP sailor. Same command, 73, above the average, MP sailor, that's good. Showed progression, different CO, progression. If it would have gone down, it wouldn't have mattered, but it went up. So that's good. They made sure they took care of him. 73, so new CO, so it's the same. This is his, I don't know if this is a transfer or what this is because he's ranked against, he's an MP. But he is the average, okay? But it's a new CO. It doesn't matter that it didn't go up. It's a new CO. But he marked him a 4.0. He is the average. So he goes to 37. He's below. Again, new guy to the command. Nothing wrong with that. This guy messed up, okay? He went to DRB. Excuse me. Talking. So he messed up. That's fine. Moving on. Because you know what? Next year, same command, different CO. But his chiefs, I'm just assuming, his chiefs, what he did during that time period was that time period. He moved on and he did phenomenal. 4.29. He's below the CO's average. I marked this blue and I marked this red because, yes, he is still, that's a high CO average. I mean, no offense, Captain, right here, but I mean, that's too high. But look how much he went up. He's a 4.0 sailor, so that's good. That's good. So he moves on. He is the average. He's below the average. He's 1 of 1. So this guy transferred a lot. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, transfers to a float, non-observed, a float. This is the same CO. He's got a 4.0. He's below. Still a 4.0 sailor. Now the CO's, his average is a 4.0, so not really saying a whole lot. Consider it like this. This CO, basically, imagine you're out or you got a buddy or a friend who's always trying to hook you up with someone or whatever, and they keep, oh, this person's hot, this person's attractive, this person's attractive, this person's attractive. Well, after the 100th time, it's like, well, you say everyone's attractive. It really isn't saying a whole lot when you say most of my people are a 4.0 sailor. That's why you want to keep it low. So when you have a 4.5 sailor, it speaks more volumes. Okay, so that's why it's important for that. Yeah, he's a 4.0 sailor, which everyone's like, that's good. Well, this CO gives everyone 4.0s, so it's really actually not saying anything. So same command, new CO. This chain of command 5.0'd him. So he did. So I mean, look at in a couple years. Although I don't have dates on here, but he fucked up at this command, and he is a 5.0 sailor. And don't worry about not progression because next year they gave him a 5.0. So if they would have brought him down with the same CO, Captain Fig, they would have messed up, but they didn't. They 5.0'd him, and then they made sure that they 5.0'd him on his way out. And the average is a 4.23. So even though I still believe that's a high average, a 5.0, there is no question in my mind why this person got promoted. So he checks in, non-observed, right? Non-observed. He's an E6 still. Papa's lieutenant commander. He's above the average. That's good. same command, same CO. Now I marked this red or orange because he didn't show progression. However, he made chief. So some people could say, well, it doesn't matter, he made chief. Well, you still always kind of want to show progression. If he was putting in a package for like LDO or something like that, it would be seen. So I don't know the reasoning behind it, but really doesn't matter. He makes chief the next year and he transfers out. So he comes in, Commodore gives him a 4.0. He's above the average. So that's good. Okay. Transfers 4.0, 4.0. Now he's a 1-for-1. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is I think that they made that too high, because now if another chief comes in to put him above the average, you got to make him like a 4.25, and you're just pushing everything up. So you should have started as a 3.5. Next chief comes in. If let's just say he is a 4.0 sailor, you mark him 4.0, and now your average just dropped to a 3.7, and that's a good space. And now you can start working around that. Again, my opinion. Okay. Same command, new CO. This guy did the same thing. He showed progression, but when this lieutenant commander, when he gets another chief, he's going to have to figure some stuff out. No disrespect to that individual. So he deploys, new chief. That's fine. He's going to be low man totem pole. He leaves. He's a senior chief, so he made senior chief over there. So new CO, he leaves. That's fine. I guarantee, when he went up for the board, they saw he's a 4.0 chief. He's a 4.0 chief. He's a 4.0 chief. He is above the average. If they looked at these, he's above the average. He's a 5.0. So no doubt in my mind why or how he got promoted. So he leaves, the senior chief. He's above the average. Checks in, non-observed. Checks into this command. He is below. As you're a 4.29 chief, and you're below the summary, and you're below the cumulative. Like, if you're a 4.29 chief, you should be. I mean, yeah, he's hugging it, but no disrespect, Commodore, whoever this was, but my opinion, I believe he has a high RSCA, and it's gonna get worse as he goes. Sorry, work. And then he leaves. So I'm sorry, this is his last eval. So he's got a 4.43. He leaves. He is above the average. So this is good. That's exactly what you want to see. So hopefully I helped everyone figure out like how to read this. Again, just because you get some yellow, if you go through and you mark this the same color, the color code I did, just because it's yellow doesn't mean it's bad. Just because you have some red marks doesn't mean it's bad. These Master Chiefs sitting these boards, these 06s sitting these boards for officers, they are smart and they are able to read this stuff and understand it. But again, when you go to these ones where they've ranked, 275 sailors, and let's just say he was a 4.5, they see that. They're like, wow, this guy was doing phenomenal. So they're smart. They understand what's going on. They're looking at everything. Not every CO is going to take care of the RSCA, and it could, you might say, it might hurt your career. But this is why it's very important, in my opinion, that first classes need to be making sure that they understand this for their second classes, because this is where it starts, right? But first class is up for chief and so on. You guys need to be sure that if the new CO comes in and you're number 1 EP and you're a 4.0 sailor, and the next year this is the same CO and you get your number 1 EP but you're a 4.0 sailor, I would be addressing that, saying, listen, chief, would you not say that I progressed this year? Yes. They're probably going to say yes, you're the number 1. Well, your eval that I'm getting right now is saying that I didn't progress. So that needs to go back and bump one of those 4s up to a 5 or one of those 3s up to whatever, but you need to show progression. Now, if they end up not doing it, or the chief goes to the O and the O says, no, I'm not changing it, again, it's not bad. That's why we have the write-ups. That's why we have all this other stuff. Again, this is just a piece of the puzzle. So it's not the end all, it's not the end all be all. But this does play a factor into you getting promoted. So just be sure you are keeping track of this stuff. Make sure, when you turn in your eval for what's due, make sure you turn in your old one as well. Make sure that you're looking on this. Make sure the dates match up. Make sure the dates match up. But let them know, like, hey, this is what I got last year. I was a 4.0. Now I'm the number one EP, but I'm a 3.89. The CO might be trying to make sure his average stays the same, and they bump someone else up to bring you down. But that's not what you want. If the 3.0 sailor is a 3.0 sailor, then you're going to have to, it's okay for the CO's RSCA to go up. If you want you can't always have a 3.6 as a CO. You can't always have a 3.7, whatever it is. It's okay to check into a command. You're going to bring everyone down, and then you're going to move them up. So you're going to have your 3.4, and then you're going to go up to like a 3.6 or 3.7. And then when you go to your next command, you're going to bring everyone down. And it should do this, as well as the individual that you're ranking. When you go to a new command, you're going to be low man, and you're going to move up. Or the new CO comes in, you're going to go back and forth. So these are just things you need to be sure that you're paying attention to. I have no problem addressing things with my superiors in a respectful way. And, sometimes I got things changed the way that I want it. Sometimes I got things changed more than I expected, and I was very gracious for it. And other times it was like I was told to pound sand. So it is what it is, but I am still where I am. So hopefully, again, this helped anyone. This is probably my 15th take because I messed up a couple other things. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. However, I do highly encourage you to have open communication. Be sure that you were talking to your chain of command about this stuff. Make sure that, you might have a CO that just might not be familiar with this, and he might have forgotten. Make sure your chiefs know, your SELs. Make sure, again, you were talking about this stuff because it is important, and it can be the one thing between you and the sailor that you're hitting all the notches all the way down. And this might just be the one thing where they're like, well, better risk averages. So that's all I got. Hopefully, again, this helped, and I hope everyone a good Navy career. Let's go and close this down. And one last piece of advice, I guess I could say, is your Navy career, for most people, isn't going to be perfect all the time. I just kind of move on from it. I've been to I got sent to DRB when I was in Afghanistan, and for something stupid, and I left there still the number 2 EP. So as you saw with the senior chief, he went to captain's mast or whatever he went to, but he still progressed. So the thing is, you just have to move on. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone moves on. Your PSR isn't going to be perfect. There might be some dates missing. You might be OCD, but just fix it, do what you can, and move on. And, you can still have a successful career. That's all I got. You have a good day. Appreciate it.